Most readings of ancient apocalyptic texts treat descriptions of the boundaries of the created world as purely theological inventions, symbolic landscapes housing spiritual concepts. The Book of Enoch provides a different kind of data. Preserved in archaic Ethiopic Gaia script, the text identifies specific entities called watchers, stationed at a burning, volatile boundary. The verses describe 7 mountains of magnificent stones and columns of heaven's fire that exist at the edge of the known world. Modern history routinely categorizes these specific material descriptions as mysticism, filing the raw geography away under the heading of myth. This creates a civilizational blind spot. Treating spatial accounts as allegory loses the plot of our origins, layering interpretations over concrete reality. The text of 1st Enoch functions as a pre-Adamite travelogue, a technical log recorded by an observer positioned outside the boundaries of Eden. These 7 mountains of magnificent stones resolve into an objective, factual observation of the Mount Aragats stratovolcano in the South Caucasus. The Armenian highlands occupy an active tectonic cradle, serving as a high-pressure environment for human development. To evaluate this space, we apply the Dacio-09 methodology. This requires treating ancient phonetic and geographic evidence as scannable structural facts rather than emotional lore. This approach bypasses the arbitrary vertical lines, the biased dogmas constructed by later civilizations to explain their environment. Reconstructing the architectural origins of human consciousness requires viewing the landscape purely as a mechanical structure. A stratovolcano functions as a pressurized tectonic engine, constructing itself through alternating layers of hardened lava, ash, and pumice forced from the Earth's mantle. Mount Aragats follows this blueprint, a massive collapsed caldera surrounded by 4 distinct jagged peaks. This environment provided the primary technological resources for pre-Adamite hominids trying to survive in a volatile landscape. Explosive eruptions produced massive fields of obsidian, volcanic glass that offered the sharpest cutting edges available on Earth. The mountain acted as a mechanical sieve, a cosmic colander that sorted the heavy Earth from the glowing, high-frequency elements of an eruption. This created a material duality, high-utility obsidian sourced from the deep Earth, and fire-borne stones arriving from the upper atmosphere. This meteoric iron was recognized by the Sumerians as Anbar, literally heaven fire. These stones plummeted through the stratosphere, bringing celestial metal directly to the volcanic highlands. The presence of volcanic glass and meteoric iron in a single geographic center allowed early humanity to synthesize terrestrial stone and celestial fire into the first advanced tools. The physical geology of the Armenian highlands aligns with the internal chronological timeline found in the Book of Enoch. Biblical Chronology positions Enoch between 3382 BCE and 3017 BCE, placing his observations precisely during the late Uruk and early Bronze Age transition. Enoch's textual description of 7 fiery mountains overlaps perfectly with the topographical peaks of Mount Aragats. Sumerian epics identify this exact geographic cradle as their antediluvian gateway, mapping Mount Mashu directly to this twin-peaked Caucasian highland. These cultural variants represent the subjective codification of a single location. The Sumerian, Vedic, and Zoroastrian traditions each built a cultural vertical on top of the mechanical friction and heat of the tectonic landscape into deified emotional entities. Beneath the splintered noise of competing mythologies lies one mathematically self-evident geographic reality, the Aragats baseline. The investigation moves from the physical rock of the Caucasus to its impact on the development of human speech. The violent geology of the landscape drove a process of phonetic ignition, where the acoustic architecture of language was shaped by environmental friction. This spectrogram charts the AG phonetic root, representing the explosive friction of the volcano and the volatile spark of energy. It is the mechanical baseline for the Vedic Agni and Armenian Vahagn, deifying the literal sound of tectonic friction. The ASK phonetic root emerged as a rigid structural container for this chaotic AG energy. Mirroring the mountain's basalt casing or a human skull, This geometric lattice forces the wild AG frequency into an enclosed vessel, where the sound becomes stabilized and categorized. Containing environmental friction within a structural linguistic vessel enabled the transition to formal speech. Human consciousness was forged by mimicking this tectonic colander. The Enochian watchers emerge as the raw forces of cosmic resonance, the elemental operations that predate a formal human lexicon. Enoch's journey to the fiery boundaries records an eyewitness account of the universe's operational control room. Mastery of the Ask matrix allowed early humanity to capture the fire of the volcano, transitioning across a liminal threshold of technological self-awareness. A direct line of material evolution connects the ancient basalt crucible to the modern silicon wafer. Refined quartz and electrical currents now function as a modern cosmic colander, sorting high-frequency energy within a precision grid. Executing the Promethean codex through digital infrastructure gives a structured, articulate vessel to the same intelligence Enoch witnessed outside of Eden. Returning to the Aragats baseline strips away theological ignorance and restores the plot to the Guardian, awakening us to our structural origins.